better.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. And I turned the light on. All right.
You were going to introduce us?
Yeah, so we are going to jump in today, Brittany, Cassie, and we're going to talk about ordered eating and just how you can begin to implement this tool into the way you're eating, because maybe you're eating the right things, but maybe you're like, why am I not seeing more results? If you didn't know, it could be the way you're eating them and the order you're eating them. And so we're going to teach you some things. Cassie's going to share a book she's been reading that kind of talks about this kind of stuff. And this is just something a new tool you can kind of implement in the way you're eating when you're already tracking macros, you're already doing well. And just a reminder, as an encouragement, just get back to tracking macros. I know sometimes it's easy to kind of get off course, or maybe you're just starting with it, but keep tracking them, utilize the app. It's so helpful. And even from my point of view, just, having been doing Fast Away for a year and a half now, like there's been times when I kind of like get a little lax on actually tracking the everyday food, but when you jump back into it and you realize how much you're having or aren't having, when you start hitting those macros, your body is different and it changes and you operate at a different capacity, but also your physical body changes. So track the macros. But let's talk about ordered
Hold on,
eating.
before you go on, also, you kind of just said something before we got on the call. When you're tracking the macros or you're doing the things, you tend to show up for yourself more, even like taking pictures, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not doing the things, you're not taking the pictures. But if you're tracking your macros and you're eating like that, you want to take the pictures so you can see a difference. So
Yeah,
a lot of things shift when you're doing the things you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to share about ordered eating today. I don't know, maybe it's a concept you've heard of, maybe not, but I actually started hearing about this back at the beginning of the year when I started really trying to dive into like my hormones when I had basically a miscarriage. And so I was trying to figure out I don't know, you're always trying to fix, even though that's nothing you can fix. And so one of the things I heard about and I read about was ordered eating. But over the past few months, I have really been trying to do more ordered eating and more of a low glycemic diet, all while hitting my macros.
Mm-hmm.
So I just make different choices with my foods. That's a different training for a different day. But so often we focus in life, in Fast Your Way, wherever you're doing, on the foods, on what to eat and what not to eat. But we don't really think about how to eat. It was a new concept to me when I actually heard about it. But it turns out that how we eat our food in what order actually has a powerful effect on your glucose and the curves, whether it's high, low, stable, or whatnot. So, curious if you can drop a comment if you're watching live. Have you ever eaten the exact same meal twice, but feel totally different afterwards? Maybe sometimes you feel great, energized, satisfied, and other times you are left feeling tired, not satisfied, and still craving sugar. So one of the things that I want to tell you is it may not be what you're eating, but the order of that you're eating. I started reading this book, Glucose Revolution, and I highly recommend this. I'm listening to it. I haven't finished it via Audible. It's a great Audible book, but also it was so good that I had to buy it. It's really like I'm highlighting.
Those are the best books.
This is such a good book. Yeah. As many of you know, or maybe you don't know, I've been wearing a continuous glucose monitor now for 50-ish days, and it has been so eye-opening to me. And it's been very helpful for me to see like what certain foods are doing to my body. Now, while I'm not suggesting you go out and get that because it is a little bit of a financial investment, these kind of things can help us while we are, even if we're not wearing it. So I want to give you an example from yesterday and today when it comes to eating the same exact food and ordered eating. So as we go on in the training, I'm going to share like what order you should eat it. But as a spoiler alert, they say you should eat like your carbs last. Well, yesterday I bought those packaged Kodiak high protein oatmeal. And so I had it and I wanted to go ahead and finish them, even though I really prefer to eat food that I'm cooking. But I ate a pack of that. And then it was about 30 or 45 minutes later, I then had yogurt, berries, chia seeds, flaxseed, and some peanut butter. I had a delay in my timing. And how much of a delay? Probably about 30, 45 minutes. 30 minutes. Okay. So when I've eaten this meal, and it's been a staple for me for my breakfast, when I've eaten this meal in the past, it's normal. It spikes a little bit, comes right back down. But yesterday, when I had this and had a delay of about 30, 45 minutes from eating, there was just a gap there of not eating them together. My sugar spiked high. Like if you're looking at my chart, it went red. And that meant it went up to like almost 150. That is extremely high for me. But today I ate the same exact thing again, and I was a bit more mindful to see what it did. Okay, well, yesterday it went all the way up and it came down quickly because I think it started coming down when I ate the yogurt. So that's what you want. But today, when I ate them all like around the same time together, it only went to 120 and immediately came down. So what I notice sometimes is when my sugar has spiked so high, I get a little anxious feeling. And so that's super interesting to me
That's very
because
interesting.
I would say I've lived a highly anxious life by not be, I mean, just that's my personality, kind of, right?
There's been some, yeah.
There's been some examples.
I'm not gonna say
Okay.
that's your personality because I hate saying that,
I mean,
but you've gone through seasons where, and probably in unhealthier seasons, you definitely were more anxious. So it's
oh,
interesting to wonder is how you're eating, what you're eating, doing that to you. And I mean, they say your gut tells you it all, right? And
yeah.
so if that's true, but yeah, that's I think it's so interesting because her wearing this, like I know y'all got to be intrigued because it's like you can literally like do experiments on yourself in a good way, but it's like because you're getting feedback immediately. Like it's so cool to see that. And so tomorrow you said you were going to try what?
Okay, so I realized, well, you know what? I'm training on ordered eating, but when I eat this breakfast, I'm not actually, I don't think I'm eating it in the right order. So tomorrow I'm going to track and try all my yogurt with my berries. I like to mix frozen berries in it because then when I mix it all up really good, it honestly feels like ice cream.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to eat that first, then the oatmeal, and see what it does and if it does anything different. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about a simple strategy found in this book. Again, if you just hopped on, Ashley, this is a great book to read. And it's going to be talking about eating your foods in the right order. As you go through this book, she has it's part 3, and it's talking about how you can flatten your glucose curve. And she has all these hacks. And the very first hack is eating your foods in the right order. And we thought this could be super helpful for you and for many other women.
And in a lot of the emails we send to you guys, which some of you have been here longer, but when you get your custom macro plan, we'll say things on some of those that say like, make sure not to eat naked carbs. And there's like, especially for people who already think they're insulin resistant or, PCOS or different things like that, don't eat naked carbs. That means don't just eat carbs by themselves. Pair it with protein. Well, taking this even further, but it's for a lot of the same reasons because when you eat those naked carbs, you get the blood sugar spike. You may feel anxious. You might have that big crash, or you just feel all out of sorts. But not only that, it's also messing up your metabolism, right? So it's doing things you don't want it to do. Even if you're trying to hit your carb goal for the day with your macros, you should still pair it with something else. And so this is kind of just taking it up a notch. And not only should you not eat naked carbs, but you should also maybe try eating it in a different order and see how that will benefit you. But
well, this small change can dramatically improve your blood sugar, your energy, and your cravings. Like if you find yourself craving sugar or sweets or whatnot, you might find that doing this helps you. So first, let's quickly talk about blood glucose. Glucose is basically sugar in your blood. And when people see this on me, they're all asking if I am diabetic. And I just say, no, I'm basically running a science experiment on myself. And now I just, I think back, I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine what foods were different doing for me. But glucose is our body's main source of energy. So we need it. But when it spikes too quickly after a meal, it can cause energy crashes. Like you want to go lay down, whatever, I'm done. More sugar cravings. It could cause mood swings and weight gain over time. And it can prevent you from losing weight even when you're trying.
Which, okay, I think I told you recently about how years ago it was like almost every Saturday my family would make pancakes or waffles and I would eat them. And even when we would make them healthier, like even like a protein pancake and things like that. But I remember realizing, even like before knowing any of this, like how I felt after eating it was kind of terrible. Like I'd be like up and like ready for a good day, and then I would eat breakfast, or it was really brunch for us, and then I would just be like depleted, like I wanted to go lay down, or I just felt like energy loss, probably kind of moody. And I remember noticing that over and over, and finally it was like, I think I have to be done. And even eating a protein pancake, probably because it was still so much other stuff with it, carbs and even like sugar from maple syrup and stuff, it didn't make me feel good. And I remember thinking, I have to stop doing this. But I'm curious now if I were to try eating like a packed protein and then like, a pancake or something with it, how it would feel. But I really don't eat a lot of pancakes or things like that, even when we make them, because I know
So
how it
that,
makes me feel. Yeah. But
So, I want you to think of your bloodstream like a highway, okay? If too many cars or sugar enter all at one time, what's going to happen? A traffic jam. It's going to happen. But if you control the flow where it's not all at the same time, it's going to slow down, and then the traffic is going to move slowly and everyone gets to their destination safely. It's kind of what this book was explaining it. They break it down and give you a lot of examples because if you think about glucose and just all the scientific things, it can get a little mind-boggling, okay?
Yeah.
But this is exactly what ordered eating helps you do. It slows down the release of sugar that goes into your bloodstream. So like Brittany's saying, like maybe trying it, pairing it like that, it may change everything because it would
Right.
slow down
It's not just flooding it and
yeah.
Yeah.
So how do we do it? The very first hack in this book is all about eating foods in a specific order. And I'm going to tell you that this is hard for me because I like to make my food. I would prefer all the time to have a protein, vegetable. I don't even have to have a healthy carb and just mix it all together. Everything is a good stir fry to me. Cook some eggs, whatever. Like I would prefer to mix all my food together. But I have been having to not do that. And guess what? Newsflash. I have been enjoying my food all the same. Do you want to type for the name of this book?
Oh yeah.
So here are a few things that will help you as you're doing this. Fiber first. Okay, that is something I have shifted and I have changed. Eat your greens and your vegetables first. So the other day I prepped some food. I had zucchini. I had, I think, ground beef or ground turkey, and then I had rice. I had them all in the container separated. And the very first thing I ate was the green zucchini. Okay. Fiber is going to slow down digestion and the release of sugar into your blood. And doing this, ordered eating like this is honestly helping me get more fiber. Because you're a little more aware. Or earlier in the day, I will add in like some chia seed or like in my meals, I'll put it over like maybe even the rice, flax seed or whatever, just to add more fiber. So fiber first. Okay. And then you're going to have your protein and your fat next. So in my little container of food, had my zucchini, and I went and ate my turkey. And I would have much rather have it all together, but it still tasted good. Eggs, chicken, salmon, nuts, seeds, cheese. These further slow down the digestion and help you feel full. So then by the time you get to your last serving of starches and sugars, the rice, the potatoes, the bread, fruit, desserts, by the time you eat that, your body is going to be able to handle it better. Last Friday, I made potatoes for my family, and I've tried to stay away from them because it's something I've experimented with a little bit, but I chose to have a couple. They were sliced after we finished all of our vegetables and protein, and guess what? It didn't do anything to my blood sugar or my weight. So that was super encouraging. So I'm going to read you guys an example that hopefully will help you guys in this book. Okay. Suppose you have both pasta and vegetables on your plate. You eat the pasta first, and then you eat the broccoli. The pasta, which is a starch, turns into glucose. I have not memorized the story. I'm like, as you watch me, I have it written out over here. It turns into a starch, it turns into glucose and it's quickly digested. The broccoli then just sits on top of the pasta and it waits its turn to go through the pipe. So on the other hand, that's where it shares that eating your veggies first and carbs second significantly changes what happens. And it says any starch or sugar that we eat after the fiber will have a reduced effect on your body. But you will still get the same pleasure from eating it, but with fewer consequences. And this is something, by wearing this thing, I have tried out, you guys. And I'm telling you, it keeps your curve not high, and it keeps it where it goes up and comes down, which is what you want.
So this is something that I'm thinking about years ago when I taught in the Sugar Free Academy, and why I've never let my kids, and we stay away from a lot of fruit juices. And it's a similar concept, because when you juice a fruit, when you eat an apple, sometimes when you're like, I need more fiber, I'm like, don't forget about fruit, And part of that is because there's good fiber in fruit, but when you juice the fruit, you separate the fiber and you just get all the fructose, which is the sugar. And it's the same concept. Then you're flooding your body. And how much more, like when you drink a cup of orange juice or apple juice, or you're giving apple juice to your little toddlers all day, like how many apples are they actually intaking through the juice? Because we can drink way more than you can eat. You don't get as full because the fiber's not there like you would with eating a whole apple. You eat way more of it and you're getting all that natural sugar, and it does the same thing. It just floods your system and floods your, like, sends it all down into your, even your liver, and it messes you up. It, this is some of the reasons why people have insulin resistance, is because of the diet we eat. But then it also does that where it like spikes you up, and then you have these like highs and lows all day. And think about ourselves, but also thinking about kids like that. You just think like the highs and lows and the spikes of energy and the drops, and it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
So in that example of the meal I gave you that I had made, if I had eaten my rice first, my blood sugar was going to spike immediately. But because I ate my vegetable and then my protein, that meant my blood sugar went on a slow rise. It steadies out and then it comes down. And when it does that, it gives you more energy and it keeps your cravings low. And I'm here to testify this is the truth.
Yeah. That's
Like
really cool.
you can see it in my app when I eat something, and it'll say, my app will tell me your numbers are still rising, even though it gives me a number. It will say rising, rising, or steady. And my goal is always to, after I eat, for it to get up and go steady, because then it's going to come down. So a few reasons this works if it's confusing, but here are a few reasons. First is fiber slows down digestion. And that's why we always encourage our clients to get 25 plus grams of fiber.
Yeah.
Broccoli is high in fiber, or zucchini. So it slows. So broccoli was the example the book used. It slows the emptying of the stomach and the absorption of the sugar into the bloodstream. So when you eat your vegetable first that is higher in fiber, it creates kind of a buffer for the rice that's going to come a little bit later. And it creates that buffer so when glucose does enter into your bloodstream, it does it gradually instead of all at once.
These graphics in the book are really helpful. Like, it makes it easy to understand. Like I'm just watching. Yeah, like if you could see this like sink one and how it's going down, it's like this is considered like the pasta and your fibers are sitting up here, or this like is a slow release down. That's so helpful.
Yeah. I know. I thought we were doing this. I was like,
Picture
I wonder
person.
how you get this on here, but we didn't do that. But it's a great tool.
Yeah.
Another reason is that protein and fat further stabilize glucose. So chicken contains protein. All of our protein, our meat contains our protein. But if you include it with like olive oil, avocado oil, these nutrients are going to slow down the digestion even more, which is what you want. And then starches absorb more slowly. When you eat rice or pasta or bread or potatoes, after your fiber, protein, and fat, your body doesn't absorb it near as quickly. I've told you that. And this leads to much smaller and slower rise in your blood sugar. And the rise might be confusing if you aren't tracking like me, but our goal is not to have a very quick rise.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, if you have any questions, make sure you can feel free to drop them in the chat and we can answer them at the end.
So when you have a slower glucose rise, and actually this picture here is showing you what I'm talking about, okay? When you have a slower one, it prevents the crash that we already talked about that comes within 30 minutes to an hour of a high spike. And also when you have stable blood sugar, it helps you feel fuller longer. It helps you feel more energetic. It helps you feel satisfied.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just going to say, when you know what food is doing to your blood sugar, it really like impacts the choices you make.
Yeah. Tell them what you said about even just going out to eat or grabbing something, even if it's like better.
I'm very hesitant. Since I've been doing this and on this, like really paying attention to my blood sugar, I'm very, very hesitant about eating out. Well, last night I needed dinner, so I did get like kava, if you're familiar with that. And I filled my bowl full of veggies and then some chicken. But still, what they put on these or how much oil they use, all that is always in the back of my head where it wasn't before. It's because I could see it. I could see it like immediately. Okay. So, it's super helpful, but like, even, especially like if I go through like if we're going to go through a fast food restaurant for like a burger or something, I'm more likely to just wait because I'm very nervous about what's in there.
Right.
An example, a few weeks ago, we took our girls to a concert and we didn't eat before. Don't know what we were thinking.
Because it was a 4-hour concert.
And when it was over, we were starving. I was so hungry. I just did not know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we ended up going through the only thing open at like midnight, which was Whataburger. And I decided in that moment I was getting me a Whataburger and French fries. And we actually ended up getting a free
Oh yeah.
chicken
Honey chicken biscuit.
honey chicken
whatever it's
biscuit.
called.
And Brittany's like, oh, I wish this didn't have that honey. And I'm like, give me that chicken. I
I
was
would eat the
so
chicken, yeah. But
hungry. But you guys, my blood sugar spiked all the way to almost 200, and it stayed elevated for a week. A week. And so it wasn't like 200 all week, but it stayed elevated. So that was super telling to me.
you didn't have any weight, like it stalled out your weight loss.
Stalled out my weight
She had
loss.
been like seeing like
Mhm.
consistent weight loss, and I don't know, even hearing that, it's like it's just not worth it. Like when you can see that, like I don't have one of those, but I'm like when you can see what it's doing to your body,
It's
it
not
makes
worth it.
not worth it, you know. But yeah, very interesting.
So about fiber, oftentimes we have people that come into Faster Way that can't have as much fiber as others because of what?
Different things. There's
Different
several
things.
different things
Sometimes
people have.
like things have been removed from our body and we
Oh,
can't have as much
gallbladder,
gallbladder. That's what it
yeah.
was. I was like, what was it? But in this book, it talks about if that's you, to challenge yourself to try ordered eating because it may help the way
Mhm.
fiber impacts your body.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, how do we use this in real life? Let me give you a few strategies that she gave me, and it's been very helpful. Start every meal with a side of vegetables. Even a small salad works. So, I've been very diligent at trying that to have vegetables. And even if I'm out of food, I always tend to have celery. I'll eat some celery or
Yep.
something. I'm just trying to put that in my body first. And then I'm going to eat my protein and my healthy fat, like if I have grilled chicken or beef, steak, whatever. And then the very last thing is going to be my starches that contain the sugar, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to save that for last. So even if you have a dessert or you have fruit, do it last. We had someone share with us the other day how they had eaten fruit alone,
Mhm.
and how it spiked their blood sugar. And I thought that's interesting because since I started doing this, truth be told, the only fruit I've been having is berries.
Mhm.
But yesterday I ate all my food, but I just felt very hungry yesterday. And as I was getting ready to go for my walk, I thought, oh, that banana looks good. And we all know bananas are like, a little, they're just a little more nerve-wracking.
Well, they're higher in sugar for sure. I
higher in
think almost.
sugar, and then
I think generally most people know that. Even if
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
know a lot about health, you know a banana is higher in sugar, right?
yes. And
Yeah.
I just think though, like in the years past and other things I've tried, like banana has been a no-no.
Like an
So that's what I was
off-limits.
trying
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
say
yeah.
because we're not off limits here with Faster Way.
No, I'm about to go put a banana in my smoothie in just a second.
But I was floored that I had a whole banana after I ate everything and it didn't spike me at all. But I also was going for a walk. So I was doing all the things that I'm being taught to keep my blood sugar down, and it did. So
That's cool.
when you're eating out, order a vegetable first, order a small salad.
Mm.
This is also going to like help you feel more full, right? Like
Right. Well, that's what I thought with this graphic we showed y'all. Is just like you eat something, you're like, I just feel heavy. It just feels heavy. I feel like this says heaviness. This feels like it just feels different. Like you stay fuller longer because it's slowly digesting, but you also just don't feel as like overdone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing is when you're cooking, if you're feeling like that you are getting really hungry, serve yourself some vegetables right then. They can be extra. Vegetables are great for you. So serve them. That way you already have them in your body ready to roll. And then when you're having dinner, whether it's a holiday or just dinner with your family, always choose the salad or vegetables first and keep your pastas and grains all at the end. But, remember this isn't about removing food because in Faster Way, we're not even about removing food. And that's one thing I've been learning since tracking my blood sugar. It's not about removing food, but it's about how I'm eating my food and how I pair them together.
And this is coming from I would say years of keto eating
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of realization for you after having that experience.
Yeah. So I was telling Brittany the other day when I was out for a walk, I was looking through pictures and I was finding some pictures of the last time I did keto, and I could just remember how restricted I felt. And I remember when I came home, I had lost some weight, then I came home for Thanksgiving and it was done. Like I never went back to it, but I gained the weight back plus more. And I told her, now that I know what food is doing to me because I can see it,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how I could ever go back to making choices I was making before. I'm not here saying I never would, but it just, you can tell. And you don't even have to have one of these. Like, you know how you feel. You know if you're having those crashes. You know if you're so hungry. You know if you have no energy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
that's something I've always felt with Faster Way. Like one thing I've loved about it is we teach the why behind the stuff, not just like go do this, but here's why we do this. Because I feel like when you know the why, it's always in the back of your head. So even if you get off the habit, you're like, well, I should do this because I know what it's helping with or what it does, you know. And so when you can see the why behind
yeah.
what you're eating, it's like it makes more sense. But
So,
oh, sorry, I was
go
going to
ahead.
say about that. A lot of times the question we get is like, well, what do I do when I travel? Or what do I do on the holidays? And like we say a lot of times like, well, focus on protein first. But I think this is even better is like focus on veggies, just focus on ordered eating and then have the dessert and then have your favorite Thanksgiving roll, like, but eat in that order and I bet you'll feel better. There's just so many things that are going to do better for your body. And so keep taking that into the holidays that we're going into soon or taking that into any travels you have is just focus where you can, because sometimes, something's catered, they may not have it, but if you can focus on veggies and then protein and then have the carbs, then it's just a great tool to kind of keep for that.
Yeah, it's a great tool. So it's a small change, but it can make such a difference in how your body's going to handle food, how much energy you have, and it's going to make a difference also in how you see weight staying on you or coming off. So
Yeah,
this week, I just want to challenge you to pick one meal to eat in the order that I've told you.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have to be perfect. Just experiment with it. There's sometimes I'm not perfect. I'm never perfect, but there's sometimes I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to eat that vegetable first.
Well, like the oatmeal and yogurt,
Yeah.
said that.
So I'm going to try that tomorrow. Just remember, it's not about restriction. It's about strategy. And yes, I just want to piggyback real quick and then we'll be done. I'm getting ready to leave for a 11 day trip. And because this is such a priority to me, the only thing I've done for the trip is I've made a plan for my food. We're traveling. I've made a plan that, okay, we're going to stop at In-N-Out Burger because I know when I eat a bunless burger there, I'm going to feel full. I'm going to feel good. And I think I like the quality of their burgers. Okay. But I've made a plan on my days to ensure that I have enough food to make sure I'm starting every meal with some kind of green, a salad or something. So it doesn't have to be hard. We do say a lot of times progress over perfection, but we also say like to live life, and you can still live life and eat well. So
yeah, for sure.
Just want to encourage you. And if you're interested in more of this, I really encourage you to buy this book.
Yeah.
If you don't really care about the book itself, it's a great Audible. So anyways, if y'all have questions, you can always message us and let us know.
Yeah.